Wave 2 of the High Republic is here, and it starts off with The Rising Storm by Cavan Scott, and I'm gonna review it. Let's unlock the knowledge. Ready up.
Ready up, my destiny.
Welcome, apprentices and acolytes, to my non-spoiler review for The Rising Storm. This is a direct sequel to Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi, which kicked off the High Republic. When I first read The Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, I was a little bit overwhelmed, but Cavan Scott Rising Storm takes all of that, settles it down, but builds off that foundation. But I know that there's a lot of you that want to know one thing. Was the book good? No, this book was not good. This book was damn good. It was so good. In fact, I'm on my second reading of it right now. I have to read the regular book while listening to the audiobook because it's just that good. The book is that good. It even has me searching the web for official merchandise of Marchion Ro, any of the other characters in the High Republic. Like, where are the Funkos? I'm not gonna lie, fam. This was probably my favorite book since Thrawn Alliances. In fact, I haven't had that much fun reading a Star Wars book, and I haven't been that immersed since Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. I think it's just as good as Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. Wait, what?
What did you say?
I said it was just as good as Bane, Path of Destruction.
You will be punished. You. Beaten with Revan's lightsaber. So,
Hey, wait.
the Legends community says hi.
Whoa.
Cavan Scott, please! Please, no!
Let's get back to it, okay? Let me help you understand why I think this. While reading Darth Bane, more specifically the first novel in Path of Destruction, I just felt a connection to the Star Wars universe, specifically in the Old Republic era, that time that has so many video games, so many novels, so many characters like Naga Sadow, Revan, Tulak Horde, Darth Kreia, so many other characters. There's just a certain type of feeling, I can say, or connectivity to the characters. Every single word, every single sentence has this type of world building or ambience that kind of sets the tone, immerses you in every single portion of the Old Republic. In Legends, specifically, The Rising Storm follows up and creates that in the High Republic. I literally feel like I'm connecting to another arc that is 1,000 years down from the Old Republic. Like it's all connected. Like all the characters are still living in there with all these new characters and these new issues and new villains, and it's insane the type of feeling that I get reading through every single page, listening to the audiobook and just wanting more from every chapter. And there's like 50 chapters in this book, more so, and I still want more. And like I told you before, the way this book ends is not fair, and I just want the next wave right now. And the only thing I can do is wait. Frick! I'm actually going to warn you that once you get finished with this book, once you're done, you're probably gonna have to lie down and you're gonna be at a loss of words because there's going to be a gaping hole inside your chest from the last few chapters. Even when I was reading the beginning of this book, I kind of understand the ominous, the slowly approaching impending doom that was going to happen because the Republic is somewhat setting itself up for failure, hence the High Republic. And that's what I loved about this book and all the concept art and everything else that came before this was how it was all going to crumb down and fail on top of them and collapse. And oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how crazy it is. I have not felt this type of feeling verbally, like as in like when I'm done with this book, I don't know what I'm supposed to say because there's so many things that I want to talk about. And Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi, endings of those movies are the only Star Wars iterations in the current canon that made me feel that way. And this book follows up with that. I'm done. I don't know who to talk to. I just want to take this moment particularly to talk about the characters that Cavan Scott extends upon since The Light of the Jedi. And he's been putting in the work, by the way. He's been doing all the comics. He has Tempest Runner, I think that's also going to be coming out for him, and the graphic novel, The Monster from Temple Peak. And he's been putting in so much work. But also everybody really needs to have their type of time to just get their accomplishments because there's been so much good work done that's led up to this. This point in the story with Rising Storm. Characters like Bel Zettifar, Marchion Ro, Avar Kriss, Stellan Gios, and Elzar Mann, even characters like Lina So, and the brand new character Ty Yorick, who's also going to be featured in that Monster in Temple Peak graphic novel later in the year. We're going to be talking about these characters for years. And I felt like after The Light of the Jedi, a lot of people were hyping up Marchion Ro. I didn't really feel like he was that great of a villain. Oh my goodness, did this book smack me for saying those words and even thinking of that. I'm not even playing. Marchion Ro, every time this character has appeared in this chapter or any time he's mentioned, it just continually draws you in. He's an enigma, honestly, at the end of that book in The Light of the Jedi. And this one, more so as well, other than just as you think you know what he's about. Just as you think you understand what he is, he does something crazy. And I can't talk about it because this is my non-spoilers review, and I'll be making another video talking about all the spoilers. But there's so much about this character. He's probably the best established villain since Moff Gideon from The Mandalorian. Like, we're talking about actual Star Wars villains from the movies, easily the Emperor. And I'm not talking about sheer potency or power or intelligence. I'm just talking about how hard it is to establish Star Wars villains in the current universe, because Star Wars villains are hard. They have to live up to the Emperor, Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, one of the most influential villains in all cinematic history. So villains are very important when it comes to Star Wars. Marchion Ro is that guy. Absolutely. And there's a couple parts of this book where I'm literally just left gasping, or my jaw is literally hitting the floor because of what happens. And most of them are all chapters that he is in, and because of what he does. And I am just so damn excited. I cannot wait for you to read those parts. But let's talk about Bel Zettifar. He, of course, was the apprentice to Loden Greystorm, one of the most sought out, most knowledgeable Jedi Masters of this time, who, of course, gets captured in the first book. Now, Bel Zettifar is kind of disconnected to the Force, and I love his relationship with everything that's going on, because he has, at some point, felt lost. And you're gonna see him react to these things, not only to other characters that he's paired up with, but also to the Force itself. And it's such a beautiful thing. He's probably gonna be one of the most talked about characters in this book. And we get so much from Elzar Mann, and of course, Stellan Gios, and I feel like these characters are, some of them I just feel like, man, there's some of Kenobi in there, there's some of Qui-Gon Jinn, and just their relationship together, and all three of them between Avar Kriss, Stellan Gios, and Elzar Mann is so fascinating, because it's not something that you really get to see in later iterations of Star Wars Clone Wars, or just what, you know, the current modern era of Jedi was when we saw from the prequels. Even a character like Lina So, who is the Supreme Chancellor right now of the High Republic, it's so cool and interesting to see a character that is not tied to the Force in any way, shape, or form, and it's not playing both sides of the Separatist or the Republic like Darth Sidious was, or Palpatine during that time in the Clone Wars. Very for the Republic and trying to make the Outer Rim and the Inner Core planets and the Mid-Rim unify as one large Republic. And it's so fantastic to see a character like that play that side of the story. Before I give my final rank and review of this book, I want to talk about the world building. If I wasn't wanting a High Republic video game before, I absolutely demand it now. There are so many parts of these chapters, so many parts when you talk about the villains and then the battles and the characters. This version of Star Wars, I want to experience for myself. Specifically, when I talk about Star Wars and experiences, I always like to talk about the Darth Bane trilogy, more specifically Path of Destruction, when Darth Bane is out on Korriban, in the sands of Korriban, while he's searching in the Valley of the Dark Lords, seeing tombs of Tulak Hord, Naga Sadow, and of course finding finally, the holocron of Darth Revan. That, I feel like, always has embedded into my head for a true Star Wars experience. And I feel like the High Republic Rising Storm does that as well. There's so many locations and planets, creatures, species that are introduced that find their way from Legends and that are given new birth inside of this book. And I ultimately feel like I have to experience that for myself in a video game. Imagine you, maybe part of the Nile, or maybe you're also a Jedi, or maybe you're some Force sensitive like Ty Yorick, who was a Jedi, but is now a Jedi for hire because they no longer agree with the Jedi. And experiencing the entire galaxy and its issues through that point of view as your own character to make choices. And I swear, like Cavan Scott and everybody a part of that, Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, Justine Ireland, everybody that's a part of this, supporting each other and their characters. This honestly is the true, this is the top. This is the zenith, I feel like, and it's only gonna get better from here. And this story really manifests that into a reality. There are parts of this book where you go to some location or some planets, and it just gives you that same Legends vibe. At least for me, when I read Path of Destruction, because I felt it there and I absolutely feel it here. It made me truly love this book. Let's finally give this rank out. Cavan Scott, Rising Storm, in this review series gets my first ever Holocron approved because it unlocks the knowledge of all the Star Wars lore that I've loved from the Old Republic and the Legends era and brings that into the High Republic in such a beautiful manner that I'm probably going to read this book over and over. I've even got my second book over here, the physical copy, while I listen to the audiobook because I just want to go over page per page, understand how to spell the characters, understand these new creatures and these planets, like the ice caves that Marchion Ro visits. There's just so many iterations of this entire book that I just want more. I want so much more, and I'm so sad that I have to wait till August or Wave 3 whenever we're getting any type of sequel to this book because there's so much happening. One of the reasons why I have this channel is because to share my passion for Star Wars. I'm sure you can tell while doing this review, I'm waving my hands and I smile too much that my cheeks hurt, and it might be a little cringe, but it's excitement to me because I love Star Wars and I love sharing Star Wars with everybody else, which is why I implore you, I recommend you go out and get this book. If you don't like reading, get the audiobook. Penguin House Audio and Mark Thompson, their effort in this is unrivaled. There is so much quality inside this audiobook that it literally makes you feel like an audio movie. There's so many sounds and music and sound effects and the description and battles and things like that. Every single character having their own unique voice. It's literally like you're just listening to the audio portion of a movie. And even if you don't like that, just try and get out the book yourself because one, it's gorgeous and there's like 3 different renditions of it that have beautiful art, but also 2, if you have not read The High Republic yet, please at least try this one. You can watch so many videos on YouTube that give you the what you missed so far or the High Republic so far, and you can be caught up without really spending a dime. But I absolutely implore you to purchase this book or the audiobook portion because this book you cannot miss. That's why it's got the Holocron approved. Let's go. So I've listed a bunch of links below where you can buy the book officially as well as the audiobook. I may not be a part of Lucasfilm's list to get these books and review them out earlier than everybody else, but I love telling people about Star Wars and letting them know what books and games and any iterations of the expanded universe that they can't miss because it's good Star Wars. And I'm telling you right now, this book is good Star Wars. It's a must read and a must need for your High Republic section. If you made it this far into my non-spoiler review, I just want to say thank you so much. Please subscribe. I'm actually going to be doing a full spoiler review later. It's probably going to be more raw than this and just me talking and splurging about how many moments that I loved. But please, go ahead and subscribe. Follow my Twitter and my podcast so you can get even more knowledge about Star Wars and we can talk about it. Thank you so much, Apprentices and Acolytes, for returning to the Dark Temple and listening to my review of The Rising Storm. I hope you enjoyed this. May the Force forever serve you. Deuces.